Now when you Google realistic or practical female armor, this picture shows up everywhere, and I mean everywhere. This is Muriella from In the Name of the King, a Dungeon Siege Tale. And what you gotta understand is that just because a set of female armor is not slutty, that doesn't mean that it's practical. And this is the perfect example. Okay, let's ignore the fact that she doesn't have a helmet for now and talk about the stuff that she does have. Her upper body is protected by this slab of scale armor. Now what is scale armor? Scale armor is chainmail's predecessor. It was never used very much because scale armor is simply very weak in comparison. The scales tend to break off. Also, it covers a very small portion of her body. Her sides are completely exposed. And the gap right here is a direct pathway to her heart. No protection whatsoever. The scales also follow the shape of her body, which would indicate that there's no padding whatsoever. So even if the scales do not break off, there's still nothing to take the blow. She would just get the hit full force. The front and back are held together with these two small straps at the top, and with this very loose hanging belt at the bottom. Now that is not a safe way to secure your armor. You can see here that some of the scales already cupped over the belt. Now especially with scales, this is quite a stupid idea. Because if something pulls your shirt, which will happen in battle, if something yanks it up, then it gets loose from your belt and it is not able to go back. Especially because it scales, because, like you can see, they cup over. So you would have to stop and tuck it back in every time something pulls it out. It just doesn't work. Her upper leg protection, or cuisses as they are called, are again held up by these two straps. Now normally cuisses are connected to either the hip or the knee, or both, and this is to prevent them from sliding down. There's nothing here to prevent these things from sliding down, so they will eventually slide down, and if they slide down to her knee, she won't be able to bend it anymore. If you want to be sure that these don't slide off, you would have to strap him in so hard that you would hurt yourself. Also again, it covers a very small portion of her leg. The only real thing you'd want to protect in your upper leg is your femoral artery, more well known as your upper leg artery. And it's located on the inside of your upper leg, and it is simply still exposed. Also, she's wearing tights. Now looking at her pauldrons, first off there are again some scales here, and I honestly don't know what they're connected to. Usually when you see people with mail on the top of their arm, it's because they're wearing a male shirt. So there's just the sleeves of the shirt. But she is not, so I honestly don't know what these are connected to. The pauldrons itself are not that bad. The weird thing about it is how she is wearing the pauldrons. They are just way too far forward. As you can see in this picture, the other characters wear way more to the back. Now actually in this picture she is wearing them better than they are. So that would mean that they kinda slide it downwards. Which means that they're simply not secure enough. Your pauldrons should not be able to slide down. Also they're quite big, they cover a pretty big portion of her arm. But that's just because they're not resting on her shoulders, they're kinda hanging off to the sides. And what you usually see with pauldrons that cover a large portion of the arm is that they are connected to the arm. This is so that when you lift your arm, you lift the entire pauldron with you. She doesn't have that though, which would mean that every time she lifts her arms, she would be smacking her own pauldron with her arm. Her pauldron would constantly be hitting her arm. That's not quite comfortable. She also wears fan braces, but again, she's not wearing them properly. As you look at the other characters, they're wearing them on top of the arm, and, well, she is simply not. And of course no helmet, but nobody in movies ever have those. So whatever. Lastly, I want to say that subscribing is now not good enough anymore. YouTube has this new feature that you have to hit the bell if you want to get notifications, so if you like my videos, then be sure to hit that bell. Also, if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe, and then hit the bell. And while you're at it, you might as well hit the like button as well. Also, link to my Facebook will be in the description below as always, and thank you for joining my quest, and I hope you'll join me in the next one. Bye guys.